So we are back again with another video on the channel, and today I want to talk about 4 things we have learned from Arsenal 3, Aston Villa 1. Let's get straight into it. A very good game for Arsenal, I feel. I mean, my match reaction, if you haven't, go check that out. It's the last video on my channel, one of the last videos on my channel, I believe. And look, it was a very dominant win. From minute one, we were pressing Aston Villa and we won the ball back so well during that entire game. And I thought, we were very good. We were very, very good from minute one to minute 90. Look, we were a bit shaky when Aston Villa got an sorry, not an equalizer, but a consolation goal, and it sort of nerved us a bit. But I thought overall, some of the blocks we were putting in, some of the saves by Ramsdale, how we were moving forward with the ball, the transition was all very, very good. And I think, look, I'm not gonna say it's like a turning curve or whatever. I'm not gonna go that far, but look, it's a good step forward, and hopefully we can continue that. The first thing we noticed in Arsenal versus Aston Villa is Nuno Tavares. I feel Nuno Tavares has been very good in this game. Look, let me explain why. Because Kieran Tierney, I feel, wasn't doing very well over the last few weeks. And Kieran Tierney got a knock. I think he had a bruised ankle. And Nuno Tavares has come in place of him. Against Manchester City, I think Mikel Arteta opted for Sead Kolasinac, I think, instead of Nuno Tavares. And I think Tavares has come in today and he's put in a stellar performance. Because look, like, in that left hand side, he was always bombing forward. He has a lot of pace. You don't realize this, but he has a crap ton amount of pace on him, and I feel that is so needed, especially in that game. We're playing a 4-4-2. Sometimes when you need a bit of pace, something to keep it ticking down that left hand side, was very good. And we just don't have that on the right hand side, because I feel with Tomiyasu, he's very defensive. And I think tactically, if one thing we've noticed from that game, especially from Tomiyasu, is defensively he can do it. I think I've got no doubts about his defensive abilities. Positionally, he's a bit sus for me still, but attackingly, he's not it. And I think we saw that so contrastingly with Nuno Tavares and how well he was doing down that left hand side. His crossing can be worked on a bit, because I think one thing we have definitely learned from this game is that Nuno Tavares, at the very least, is a more than capable backup for Kieran Tierney. And I think he can push for his spot as number one. And I do think in the game against at least Leeds, or even in the game against Leicester City, I do think someone like Nuno Tavares could genuinely be needed, because I'll still stick with the same lineup for the game against Leicester City next week. And that is, I think, one key thing we have learned from this game, is that Nuno Tavares is not a mug. He's a very, very good player with a bag tons of pace, and he knows what to do. Very intelligent player as well. The next thing I think we noticed and learned from this game was that it's not rocket science. Let me explain. Consistent pressure will equal goals and will equal more created chances. And we definitely saw that today. We had the most shots this season in the first half from under Mikel Arteta. I think it was like 10 or 11. We had plenty of chances in that first half, literally to put the game to bed. Literally, we probably did with the 2 goals, but still, literally, absolutely finished the game off. For Aston Villa to have almost no point of return, because I thought some of the pressing we were doing, especially not closing out the goalkeeper, because I think Emi Martinez is very good at handling that. But the way we were winning the ball back every single time Aston Villa had the ball, we had 1 man, 2 man, 3 man, literally around their players. And that way we were able to consistently press Aston Villa to the point that we could get the ball back. And in transition, we had, that would be my next point about our midfield. And my next 2 points are about the midfield, because I think that's very key and has been a big problem for Arsenal, especially over the last few weeks, and why we haven't been able to be so dominant in games. And was a big problem only a few days ago in the game against Crystal Palace. But I feel, look, the consistent pressure will equal created chances. We don't do this often enough in games. We do it for 20-30 minute bursts, and this is so repeated. We do it for a bit and then we don't do it. We need to keep doing it throughout the game, because then we can keep creating chances, and then the chances will come to the likes of Smith Rowe, to Aubameyang, to Lacazette, and we will end up scoring more goals. It's not that rocket science. Consistent pressure will equal goals, and we've seen this numerous amounts of times this season, especially when we blew Tottenham away, when we've blown Aston Villa away. You know, it's not that hard. The third thing we noticed from this game is that the midfield is starting, just a word, starting to add goals to our team, which is in turn meaning we are getting better results. We're not losing games as often, because we saw the other week we had Martin Odegaard adding, we've seen Smith Rowe being adding. You know, Saka, yes, he's an attacker, but in this game he was playing as like a right mid, as part of the four, and he's been adding goals as well. Thomas Partey's adding goals. We know Xhaka can have a few goals. And now we are seeing starting keyword, starting to see the midfield adding a few goals into the team. And I think that is such a big aspect. Even Emil Smith Rowe, he was a big one. He got man of the match in this game. And I think he's part of this. And I think with someone like Emil Smith Rowe he can do so well driving with the ball, running with the ball, dribbling's all very good. That's where the third goal came from. But he needs to add more goals to this game. And now he's got his second of the Premier League. Look, that's very good from him. Now let's keep doing it. Keep consistently. Keep scoring. Because now that's where you take your game from here to there. That's what you need to do now. Add goals to your game. And I think someone like Emil Smith Rowe would be so key for us. And look, the midfield's starting to add goals. And it will mean that there is less pressure on the likes of Bukayo Saka. Less pressure on Aubameyang and Lacazette to always keep driving Arsenal out of trouble. And we can, look, someone like Thomas Partey, look, winning so many balls in the air. Very key. And we'll go on to Thomas Partey in a second. And I think the midfield is starting to add goals. We saw that Thomas Partey scored his first goal. Hopefully he can add a few more. Sambi Lokonga had quite a few attempts. I think if he sort of fixes up his decision making a bit, when to pass it, when to shoot it, maybe work on his shooting a bit, he can help us. We know Aoneni can, we know Xhaka can. So look, we are starting to add a few goals from midfield. That is good. Let's continue that. Let us continue that. Let's not put all our judgment onto one games, but just a starting point. The midfield is starting to add goals to this team. The last point I want to make from this game is that Thomas Partey and Albert Sambi Lokonga work as a midfield duo. They work. Wait, maybe not as a pivot in front of a 4, but in a 4-4-2, which we played today, in which Aubameyang and Lacazette played up top, with Lacazette sometimes dropping a bit deeper to help Thomas Partey and Sambi win the ball back. So we could increase the pressure, as I suggested in the second point. Really helped us, and it worked. Thomas Partey and Sambi Lokonga were brilliant. You just had to see when Sambi came off and when Ainsley and Martin Odegaard came on, it just became so dented the way we were winning the ball back in midfield, because we had Lacazette coming down and we had Thomas Partey, we had Sambi all hovering over the ball and trying to win it back, trying to stick a foot in, and it worked. Thomas Partey and Sambi Lokonga as a midfield duo, if it is done properly tactically around them, is possible, and I'm convinced of that. It's very much possible in my opinion. And look, we can't be getting ahead of ourselves here. Look, we have to calm down a bit. 6 games unbeaten, very good. We've won today, but we have drawn our last 2 before that. 11 points with Manchester United, 5 points off the top. Yes, other teams have still got to play, and I think by the time this video comes out, maybe 1 or 2 teams have already played. Let's move on now. Let's drive forward. Let's see how we do in the next couple of games, because look, we have to continue this. You can't do this for 1 out every 3 games. You have to keep doing it, and that's what makes consistent teams, and that's the only chance we have of making European football top 4, top 6, top 7, whatever your expectations are for this season. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say for this video. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.